Cal Waugh created a rubric of play in order to discover what elements make a game fun. These elements are known as mimicry, agon, alia, and ilinx. Mimicry, the first on the list, is the experience of role-playing. It takes the act of becoming someone else and having time pass within their shoes. Agon, being a synonym used for competition, is when a game makes skill and challenge the defining factor, leaving the tension at the forefront of emotion. Much like agon, alia is a synonym as well. However, in this case, it stands for chance. Alia is the experience of playing against fate. It is independent of the player and aims to bring a rush of adrenaline within the atmosphere. Lastly, there's ilinx. Ilinx, in essence, is the feeling of vertigo. It aims to momentarily destroy the stability of perception. It aims to instill a level of chaos, however, this must be done within a temporary state. The video game Dark Souls 2 by From Software utilizes each of these 5 categories in order to engage players in personal, unique, immersive, and challenging gameplay. It effectively borrows from each category in a way that makes this game feel like a piece of art to play. We are going to briefly look at 5 examples Dark Souls 2 has to offer based on Calloy's rubric of play. First, we should touch on mimicry. Mimicry is the first aspect of our rubric a new player may come across when starting Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2 has an expansive array of options and customizations, tailored to fit the likings or likeness of most players. After you speak to a rather scary old lady, she gives you a human effigy. It is at this point you start your role-playing journey. You get to choose your class and starting item, your body build, your character's face settings, and some more intricate facial tweaks as well. This lets a player feel like they have a piece of themselves invested in their character, and helps them feel immersed in the game. Agon is one of the most expressive categories found in Calloy's rubric of play. Dark Souls 2 never seems to ease up. The game pushes the limit on excessive punishment based on miniature mistakes, forcing players to put their skills to the test if they want to progress. Anyone who has played a Dark Souls title will tell you that the game isn't for the faint of heart, and that is mostly due to its loyalty to the agonistic playstyle. Only skill and practice can help a player traverse the world of Drangelic. On top of this, From Software has implemented a PvP system, allowing seasoned players to show off what they have learned, as well as battle for a fresh experience. Alea plays a much more subtle role in Dark Souls 2. Learning enemies' habits and behaviors is a common theme throughout the game. However, there is an element of fate when getting into some of the bigger battles. All of the enemies hit painfully hard, and a lot of the time, players find them beside themselves with anger because there was literally nothing they could do about it. Enemies can change attacks in a blink of an eye, and movements by players are final. This means that if you are in an animation like casting a spell, and you need to make a quick dodge, your first action has already decided your fate. This gives players a big rush of adrenaline if they survive a big hit, or great sorrow as they painfully watch as their beloved character gets killed from the very buttons they previously pressed. Ilinx is found everywhere in Dark Souls 2. Throughout the game, players often have to traverse lands by means of jumping over or falling through gaps in the map. Large amounts of damage are taken from falling, and your humanity is ever so important to keep on progressing throughout this game. This means that every moment has to be timed and precise. However, once you have made that move, almost all control is lost by the player until the end of the landing animation. Your character also rolls after most jumps, and the roll cannot be controlled. This leaves players in a chaotic state the moment after leaping to smaller platforms. This use of ilinx adds a level of anxiety and stress to these areas, making them memorable and often overwhelming at first glance. Finally, we must look at Calloy's distinction between paidia, play, and ludus, organized games. When looking at paidia and ludus, it must be looked at as more of a spectrum, due to it being almost impossible to achieve either one in its truest form. Dark Souls 2 is definitely a ludus-oriented game. However, the way it is presented gives a lot to be desired for those who may like a paidia-esque playstyle. Dark Souls 2 has definite rules and ways to beat all enemies, making it extremely organized. However, with that in mind, one can choose to take on any area at any given time and is free to experience the game on so many different categories of serious. If you like the random chaos of free playing Dark Souls games, so be it. After looking through all of these elements, it is evident that the implementation of Kaloy's rubrics of play found within Dark Souls 2 successfully evoke emotion and utilize their very essence to create an expansive, immersive gameplay experience.